Imagine stepping into a classroom and it's just buzzing with energy. Students aren't just sitting there, they're, up at the front actually touching and moving stuff around on this huge bright screen, collaborating. It sounds amazing, right? And it's the promise of these interactive screens that lots of schools are trying to tap into. So today we're doing a deep dive into these screens in classrooms. Because while the potential is massive, getting them used effectively, well, that often throws up some surprising challenges. Our mission here is to figure out the biggest barriers schools face and, more importantly, find some practical, real-world solutions. And here's a hint. It's often not just about the technology itself, as you might first think.
That's a really key point to start with. The potential is incredible. I mean, these screens can turn lessons from static to dynamic. They can boost engagement, get students working together. They really can reshape learning. But like you said, putting new tech into a really dynamic place like a school classroom, it's complex. There are layers to it, beyond just the device. And what's so interesting in EdTech is how often the problem we think we see, maybe the hardware or the software, isn't actually the root cause.
Okay, let's dig into that, because I think a lot of people would assume the biggest hurdle is, well, technical stuff, maybe the cost to buy them, or software being buggy, or the hardware not keeping up. We've all been there with tech, right? Frustrating. But our sources are telling a different story, aren't they? So if you're listening, what do you think is the single biggest barrier stopping schools from really making the most of these screens?
Well, our research, and honestly, just talking to schools and seeing it in practice, it points really clearly to one main thing: teacher adoption and confidence. It's not usually the screen's capability that's the limit. It's really about how comfortable and skilled the teachers are in using it effectively. If you connect that to the bigger picture, it highlights something crucial. Any tech in education is only as good as the people using it. The screen itself isn't the bottleneck, it's how teachers are or maybe aren't empowered and supported to actually leverage it. Without that, it's just, well, a very expensive big TV.
Right, the big TV problem.
Yeah.
And that human capital idea really hits home. It's about the people, not just the purchase order.
Yeah.
And our sources didn't just stop there. They break down this big challenge, teacher adoption and confidence, into four sort of interconnected barriers that keep popping up. Let's get into those, because understanding the why is the first step to fixing things, right? First one up. Teacher confidence and training. Makes sense, doesn't it? If you're not feeling sure about it or haven't really had a chance to play with it properly,
Yeah.
you'll stick to what you know.
Absolutely. Without good, practical, hands-on training, that screen just becomes a projector. A big one, sure, but just a display. Teachers might just mirror their laptop and completely miss out on the really powerful interactive stuff. Things like, the collaborative apps, annotating directly on documents, screen sharing easily, tools specifically designed to get students involved. And it's not just about features, it's about a different way of teaching that the screen enables. If there's no ongoing professional learning, PLD, teachers just don't get the time or the guidance to explore how these tools could actually transform their lessons.
That big TV syndrome is definitely real. Okay, so let's say teachers get a bit more confident. The next barrier is pedagogical integration. Even if they can use the tech, does it actually fit with how they teach or how they want to teach? If not, it's still going to be underused.
Exactly. Technology integration works best when it's woven into existing teaching practices, not just bolted on as an extra thing. The real shift, the barrier often, is moving from that traditional teacher at the front presenting style to something more student-led, more interactive. If the lesson plans aren't adapted to actually use the interactive features, like getting kids up to the board or working together on a shared digital space, then the screen doesn't reach its potential. It's really about changing the method, not just the medium. And that takes conscious effort and planning.
Right. But even if a teacher is confident and they've got great ideas for integrating it, if the tech itself is flaky, they'll hit a wall.
Which brings us to barrier number 3. Technical and infrastructure issues. This one probably feels more obvious. We've all battled tech glitches. But in a busy classroom, that frustration can be a real momentum killer. Oh, definitely. And those frustrations can completely derail things. Imagine planning a really dynamic lesson and the Wi-Fi keeps dropping or the screen freezes. Poor connectivity, maybe older teacher laptops that don't play nice, or just not having quick IT support when you need it. These things make teachers just give up. It's too hard. And another thing is inconsistency. If some rooms have screens and others don't, or the setups are different, it makes planning across classes or even just moving rooms incredibly difficult. It's this sort of background friction that really saps motivation.
And the final barrier, number 4, is one that every single educator will understand immediately: Time and workload. Teachers are already juggling so much: curriculum, marking, communication, clubs, everything. Adding another thing that needs time to learn, time to prepare for, it can feel overwhelming.
It's absolutely a major barrier. It's usually not about teachers not wanting to use new tools. It's about bandwidth. They might feel, quite rightly, that they just don't have the hours in the day to really explore the screen's features or prep lessons that use it well. With everything else competing for their attention, the fancy new screen can easily become just another task instead of a valued tool that actually makes teaching better or easier. We're asking them to learn something new on top of an already packed schedule.
Okay, so we've laid out the big challenges: confidence in training, fitting it into pedagogy, the tech headaches, and that ever-present lack of time. But this isn't just about the problems. Our sources also offer some really solid practical strategies for schools to tackle these. It really boils down to empowering the teachers, right? Not just installing the gear.
Precisely. That's the core message here. The interactive screen finds its power when teachers feel supported to use it as a real learning tool, not just a display. So success comes from that combination. Reliable tech, yes, but also ongoing relevant training and making sure it all aligns with what the school is trying to achieve pedagogically. Without that whole package, the potential just stays locked up.
Right, let's get into those solutions then. Starting with building teacher confidence through training and support. How do schools actually move teachers beyond that big TV stage and help them feel like they really own this technology?
It needs to be targeted and practical. So first, hands-on PLD workshops. But not just showing off fancy features. Show them how to use it for everyday stuff, like annotating a text together or running a quick brainstorm. Make it immediately useful. Second, something really effective is in-class coaching. Short sessions right there in their own classroom using their lesson plans. That makes the learning stick because it's directly relevant. Builds confidence fast. And third, identify some peer champions, teachers who are already comfortable and enthusiastic. They can model good practice, share tips, maybe run informal drop-in sessions. That internal support network is often incredibly valuable.
I like that peer champion idea. So once confidence is growing, how do we tackle the next piece? Ensuring the screens are truly integrated with pedagogy. How do we make sure they're actually changing how learning happens, not just, showing slides in a bigger format?
Yeah, this is about making it transformational. A good way in is to start simple. Focus on quick wins. Things like annotating directly on screen, maybe using it for collaborative mind maps, or quick interactive quizzes. Stuff that doesn't require a massive lesson redesign. Then, and this is crucial, link its use to the school's wider goals. Show teachers how using the screen helps achieve things they're already focused on, maybe improving student collaboration, or giving students more voice, or supporting project-based learning. Frame it as a tool for their existing priorities. And really importantly, shift the focus. Get students using it, encourage them to come up, manipulate things, lead parts of the session, make it their tool too.
Okay, making it student-centric, I like that.
Yeah.
But none of this works if the tech keeps failing. So how do we effectively fix technical barriers? How do we make the tech reliable, supportive, not another source of stress?
Yeah, the foundation has to be solid. So number one, reliable Wi-Fi and easy device connection. Screens need to connect seamlessly with teacher laptops, tablets, student devices, if they use BYOD. No constant dropouts. That's just fundamental. Next, IT support needs to be quick and helpful. Teachers need to know that if something does go wrong, help is easy to get. If they have to wait ages or struggle alone, they'll just stop trying. And finally, consistency. As much as possible, have similar setups in different classrooms. It avoids that frustration in moving rooms and finding everything is different. It creates predictability.
Makes sense. Predictable and reliable.
Okay.
And that brings us to the last big solution area: managing time and workload. How can schools realistically make it easier for busy teachers to actually adopt and use these screens without feeling like it's just one more thing piled on?
This needs a really supportive and strategic approach. One great tactic is providing preloaded templates and resources. Think lesson activities, templates they can just drop into their planning with minimal prep time. That lowers the barrier significantly. Another thing is encouraging gradual adoption. Don't expect everyone to be an expert user overnight. Let teachers build confidence step by step. Celebrate the small wins along the way. Allow them to grow into it. And related to that, actively share success stories. Show how other teachers are using the screens to make a real difference in student engagement or learning. That builds motivation and shows the value of investing that precious time.
Wow, okay. What a journey through this. We've gone from that initial shiny promise of the tech to really understanding it's the human side, the teachers, that's key, and then mapping out some very practical ways forward. So the big takeaway really feels like It's not just about buying the screens. It's about investing in the people using them, building their confidence, helping them weave it into their teaching, making sure the tech actually works reliably, and being smart about managing their workload. That seems to be the formula.
Absolutely. And, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Not just about screens, but about any new tool or initiative in education, or really any complex organization. How often do we get caught up in the excitement of the new thing, the technology itself, without putting enough focus and resources into the people, the training, the ongoing support, the strategic thinking about how it actually fits in and helps achieve the real goals? Maybe think about how these ideas about supporting people through change, integrating tools thoughtfully, might apply beyond just classroom screens. Could be relevant to any new software, new process, anything you're trying to bring into a busy environment. The lessons feel pretty universal.
That's a great thought to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive today. We really hope this look at interactive screens helps you think about education technology, maybe with some fresh perspective, focusing on that empowerment and smart implementation.